Tucker Carlson, our military has been lying to us for 20 years. In July of 2017, every member of the Joint Chiefs of Staff met with newly elected President Donald Trump for the first time. It didn't go well. "You all losers," the president told them, according to Foreign Policy magazine account. "You don't know how to win anymore." It was a harsh assessment, obviously, though arguably true. The Joint Chiefs of Staff are the nation's highest-ranking military officers. Their job is to follow the order of elected officials and protect the country, no matter how much their feelings may be hurt. But in this case, that's not what happened, because the rules are different now. According to U.S. Army Major General Paul Eaton, the president's insults that day, and the similar comments he made in public, were a bitter humiliation for the nation's military leaders. They made it their mission to undermine civilian control of the Pentagon ever after. "I was really shocked by how many of my former colleagues voted for the former president and openly supported him," Eaton said. But when turned on the military, well, the military turned on him.
Keep in mind, that is not how democracy is supposed to work. Military leaders report to the people you elect. Again, that's not what happened. Stories began leaking about the President Trump, ignoring classified intelligence about Russian bounties in Afghanistan. Where do you think those stories came from? They came from the Pentagon. It was payback. Then the military refused to pull troops out of Syria and Afghanistan, even though they were ordered to do so by the elected President of the United States. Again, no civilian control of the military. When Joe Biden finally became president, on Inauguration Day, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley, was so excited he couldn't control himself. "No one has a bigger smile today than I do," Milley told Michelle Obama, sucking up like a child. "You can't see it under my mask, but I do." The media people who have supported Biden from the very beginning, including a former CIA director, there are many of those on TV these days, also celebrated. "They told us the adults were back in charge," they said. "The orange man is gone. Everything is going to be better now."
Dana Bash, anybody who has any connection to reality about what is going on around them should have watched that and said, "The adults are back in the room." Cornell Belcher, "It seems as though we have an adult in the White House who is simply doing the work." Fed Zachariah, "Really the theme I would say is that the adults are back." Jameel Hill, "Still it is a relief to have adults in charge." John Brennan, "Now we have adults in the White House." Don Lemon, "Okay, the adults are back in the room." Michael Wallace, "There is a sense, I think the world over, that the adults have returned." Jonathan Capehart, "Now we have an adult in the White House and it's glorious." Those clips are amazing to watch now because they consist of the most childish people in the country celebrating adulthood. But they look especially absurd in light of what we've just seen in Afghanistan. These days, Joe Biden's friends in the Pentagon and the Foreign Affairs desk at NBC News no longer think he's an adult. He abandoned American citizens and got 13 Americans killed, and suddenly they seem a little ashamed. Plus, he's turned his back on the neocon project, and that's the greatest offense of all. But the bigger question is why our media and the military were talking like this in the first place. The adults are back in charge. What does that mean, exactly? If you follow what our generals have been telling us for the past 20 years about Afghanistan, you quickly realize exactly what it means. Adults means people are willing who pretend that everything is going fine when in fact it is not going fine. Blinken blames Trump admin civ backlog for failure to Eastern time Afghan allies out. OFCOUNTRY consider that no matter how badly our mission in Afghanistan was deteriorating, we were never clear on what that mission was, but clearly, our strategy of pacifying the nation was falling apart. No matter how bad it got in Afghanistan, the Pentagon and its spokesman repeatedly told us they were making incredible progress. And progress is the word they used again and again and again, almost as if they coordinated it. In 2005, the head of U.S. Central Command, General John Abbasade, told reporters, quote, "Over the 3 years that we've been operating there, has shown interesting progress." In 2007, the website Task and Purpose reported that another senior general, Dan McNeill, had a similar message. Quote, "I'd like to point out that there is significant progress in the forward move of the Afghan National Army." In 2008, the commander of the 101st Airborne, another adult, concurred that progress was ongoing. Quote, "We're making some steady progress." Then, in 2010, even as coalition casualties increased, the progress somehow continued unabated. It was progress no matter what. An Army Lieutenant General called David Rodriguez told reporters at a news conference in Kabul, quote, "We are steadily making deliberate progress." That same year, Stanley McChrystal, then the commander of US forces in Afghanistan, also wanted us to know about all the progress that was being made. "I think we have made significant progress in setting the conditions in 2009 and beginning some progress, and that we'll make real progress in 2010. Which we remind you was 11 years ago. Then Stanley McChrystal was fired for criticizing the Obama administration and in particular, the total incompetence of the current President Joe Biden. General David Petraeus took over. And sure enough, Petraeus quickly declared that, quote, "Progress has been achieved in some critical areas, and we are poised to realize more progress." A year later, in 2011, Petraeus doubled down, telling lawmakers, quote, "The past 8 months have seen important but hard-fought progress." Speaking that summer to troops in Kandahar, the Defense Secretary, Robert Gates, echoed that theme. Robert Gates, June 2011, "And what you've accomplished is extraordinary because over the course of the year you have essentially ejected the Taliban from their home territory. And if we can hold this territory and expand the bubble, then I think by the end of the year, we can turn the corner of this conflict."
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe